everyone, Pratima here. So this is Realme's latest mid-range phone, the Realme 16 Pro Plus. Like almost all of the new launches lately, the prices have increased by around 15 to 20%, and with this phone as well, we see a pretty big price hike compared to last year's model. The Realme 16 Pro Plus now starts at 40,000 rupees for the 8GB RAM and 128GB storage variant, but I honestly think you should skip the 128GB variant because, well, in 2026, 256GB storage is pretty much required. So I picked myself the 256GB variant, and after bank discounts, I was able to get it for around 40,000 rupees. And I have been using this phone for a better part of a week now. So the big question is this the best phone that you can buy under 40,000 rupees? Okay, so let's get started with the good stuff first. And the first thing here is, of course, the design. Because just look at this phone. It looks so cool and feels so different. I also like this new camera module. It actually looks quite similar to the OnePlus 15 when rotated like 90 degrees. But probably the most unique thing about this phone is this back panel. Realme says it's made using renewable materials and it feels really nice in the hand. The back panel has this soft and gentle touch, and because of that, it offers quite an excellent grip. In my 1 week of use, I have noticed a bit of dust and smudges, but Realme claims that over time, it is resistant and durable, so we will have to see how it ages. By the way, there's also a pink color available, and it looks really cool in the official vendors. Another thing I like here is that despite having a massive 7000 mAh battery, this phone is not that heavy or bulky. It weighs only 198 grams, so it has the right heft to it, and it also feels like I'm carrying a premium phone. In terms of display too, I got a pretty good overall experience with the Realme 16 Pro Plus. It has a nice bright OLED display with up to 1800 nits of brightness in high brightness mode, which is more than sufficient. I also found it to go quite dim at night. There's also high PWM dimming, HDR10 plus videos play well, and 144Hz refresh rate, although I didn't see it hitting 144Hz at any time. The only thing that I don't like here is this curved display. I feel like a flat display would have been much better. Likewise, I also felt the touch response here is not as good as, say, the Note 5 or iQOO, which just has a very fast touch sampling rate. Another thing I missed here is an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. I know it's quite a lot to ask, but on a phone with such a big form factor, having an ultrasonic sensor would have meant the position would be slightly higher and it would have made the experience so much better. Right now, the fingerprint sensor is placed quite low. But my biggest complaint with this phone is that despite its good display, the audio quality is quite poor for a 40,000 phone. I love listening to music, the classic rock music, but the sound quality here is so bad that I had to stop listening. For watching movies or videos, it's decent, but for music, it's quite disappointing. And even the vibration motor here is not very good. Hear this. It's not very crisp, to be honest. Okay, so now let's talk about the performance, and here we get the Snapdragon 7 Gen 4, which for the price is definitely not the fastest processor you can get, and I think this is where Realme had to compromise to keep the price in check. So yeah, performance is decent for everyday usage, but it's not great. If you're coming from a faster phone, you will notice some sluggishness here and there. Even phones in the 30 to 35,000 price range now offer faster performance. So yeah, this is an area where Realme again could have done better. A Snapdragon 8S Gen 3 or something like the Dimensity 8400 would have been a much better choice. That said, you will like the software experience here. It runs on Android 16, not the Android 15 like we saw on the Redmi Note 15 series. And with Realme UI, we pretty much get the same experience as on OnePlus and Oppo phones. The experience is clean, animations are smooth, so yeah, it's the same DNA as my OnePlus 15 plus slower performance. Plus, there's a lot of bloatware on Realme phones, but the good thing about Realme and OnePlus software is that you can uninstall or disable all of the apps like this. I also noticed that this phone does not heat up during normal usage. However, for gaming, it is not very good. If you're into heavy gaming, this phone is definitely not for you. PUBG only runs at 60 FPS, and even during winter season, after about 30 minutes of playing PUBG, the temperature crossed 40 degrees. In comparison, gaming phones and flagship phones usually stay below 35 degrees, so it's clear that this phone is not designed for gaming. Another thing that's fantastic here is the battery life. With the 7000 mAh battery, I was getting around 9 to 10 hours of screen on time. However, in comparison, I noticed the battery life here is not as good as, say, the OnePlus 15, which I have been using as my primary device. There's also an 80-watt charger included in the box, and it can go from 0 to 100% in about an hour, so it's pretty fast. Alright, so one of the main reasons why this phone could be a good choice for a lot of users is the camera performance, especially its main camera. Realme has used a 200 megapixel Samsung HP5 sensor for the main 1x wide camera, and this is a really good sensor. It is actually used on the Oppo Find X9 Pro for telephoto. Hence, you can see from these samples, we get really good photos. Details are excellent and the colors look really nice. You get two modes, natural and vivid, and if you want punchy colors like in these flower or leaf photos, vivid mode works really well. Another thing that I really like with this 200 megapixel camera is the shallow depth of field in close-up shots. Just look at these photos. The close-up shots look very good with nice background separation. The 1x photos are also usually better than what we used to see with other 40,000 phones. Even in low light, the main camera performs well. The only issue I have with the primary camera here is that there's quite a bit of glare when shooting in direct sunlight and sometimes even in low light. This could be because Realme is not using better quality lens coating here, which results in noticeable flaring. Now, considering how good the main camera is, I expected a better ultra-wide camera here. It's a basic 8 megapixel ultra-wide lens, and while it's not bad, it's just decent. For a 40,000 phone, I really think Realme should have given a bigger, higher-res 50 megapixel ultra-wide camera here. As you can see, once I zoom in on the ultra-wide photos, especially at night, the ultra-wide camera lacks detail and does not really justify the price. For zoom, we get a 3.5x telephoto lens. It's not a periscope lens like we usually see on premium phones, but it can still capture decent zoom photos. Up to 10x, the photos are usable, and the portrait shots are particularly nice with decent edge detection. Realme actually has done a fantastic job with skin tones too. Even the front camera handles skin tones really well. The selfie camera is also decently wide, and the selfies turn out nice. Anyway, compared to more expensive phones, this telephoto lens is not very fast. If there's a lot of movement, the photos don't always come out sharp. Otherwise, for portraits and zoom up to 10x, this telephoto lens is quite decent. Video is also not the strongest point of this phone. You can shoot 4K at 60 FPS from the main camera, the telephoto camera and the front camera, but the ultra-wide camera is limited to full HD. This kind of breaks the consistency if I have to switch between two lenses in the middle of the recording, which I am not a big fan of. And although the video quality is okay, stabilization here could also have been better. Ultra-wide videos in particular are quite bad, so yes, the video performance could definitely have been better here. So overall, is the Realme 16 Pro Plus a good phone for its price? And most importantly, is it the best phone under 40,000 right now? Well, my answer is it's difficult for me to give this phone an easy recommendation because in the last couple of months, the price of phones have increased and 40,000 is quite a lot of money for a phone like Realme 16 Pro Plus, to be very honest. If this phone was priced around like 32 or 35,000 rupees, it would have been a no-brainer recommendation. It would have been a very balanced phone at that price. But at 40,000 rupees, I just think that there are more stronger phones. For example, Samsung's Galaxy S24 FE. If you're okay with just decent battery life, the S24 FE is a better option in my opinion. You get a cleaner One UI experience and slightly better cameras as well. Another good option is the OnePlus 13R. It offers much better performance with Snapdragon 8 series chipset. The cameras are not the best, but the performance, the haptics and the display is so much better. You can also find the Nothing Phone 3 occasionally in the 40 to 45,000 range, which is another solid option. Rainis is currently using this phone and he says that after the updates, the cameras have become so good. And if you're into compact phones, the Galaxy S24 and the Google Pixel 9a are two phones that make a lot of sense under 40,000 rupees, especially for camera lovers. Last year, one phone I really liked was the Vivo T4 Ultra. It is still available under 35,000 rupees for the 256GB variant and offers better performance on top of good cameras. So what do you think about the Realme 16 Pro Plus? Do let me know in the comments if you agree with my opinion, and while you're there, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Saying this, I'm Pratima and I'll see you in the next video.